Launch Symposium. I'm Austin, and there was a comment in one of my videos from Ron the Shrink. He asked a really simple question. I was writing a response, and it just got longer and longer, and I thought, I gotta make a video about this. This is a deceptively simple question, and the answer is a little bit more complex, so that's what this video is about. He wrote, I'm starting to think the 16710, that's the pre-ceramic GMT Master 2, is the only way to go if money isn't an object. Well, Ron, even if money is an object, it's a great option because when it comes to the pre-ceramics, it's probably one of the best, if not the best. Now, here's his question. Would you go Coke or black bezel, Austin? Well, it's a pretty simple question, right? I mean, go for the one you like more, or I should just tell Ron which I would go for, but it's a little bit more to it. And so that's what we're going to talk about. And let me just talk first about functionality, because the Coke is a little bit more functional because the bezel insert is divided into two. And so from the triangle at the 12 on the bezel to the color transition is exactly 15 minutes. And so if you're going to use your GMT Master 2 like a sub and time things, and that's one of the beauties of having a GMT with the rotating bezel, you get the GMT function, but you can really use it like a timer and like a sub, then having a 15-minute timer on the fly is kind of useful. Now, of course, you could take the all black and just remember that from the triangle to the 6 is 15 minutes, but with the Coke, you have that visual confirmation with the color transition, and that's kind of nice. And so functionally speaking, I'd have to hand it to one of the bicolored bezels. But which is more wearable long term? Well, you've got on the Coke that red on the bezel, and that's kind of the best thing about it. But if you're wearing it day in and day out, you're going to find that perhaps that little bit of red on the bezel insert doesn't go with everything, and perhaps that red might start to bother you. And you wear it for another 2 weeks and you look down at it and it's really starting to drive you crazy. And you might wish for something a little bit more universal, something a little bit more wearable in all situations. And when it comes to the all black bezel insert, there's really nothing to get tired of. Okay, there's no color that's gonna grate on you. And it's a little bit more boring than the Coke or the Pepsi, I grant that, but for the long term, I think that's the way to go. The beautiful thing about those bicolored bezels is really what pops, and that kind of goes for all of the GMT Master 2s. What I mean is the Pepsi is beautiful because, in my opinion, the blue really pops. That just blue jumps out. It's beautiful. And the great thing about the Coke is you don't have the blue taken away from the red, and so it's the red that pops. But then if you take away the red and you have an all black bezel insert, what pops? The GMT hand. And it's kind of nice to have, and it's very subtle, to have that fourth hand, which is so characteristic of the GMT. It's what makes the GMT, what pops up when you look down at it. And that's kind of nice. And so for that reason, I would go the all black bezel insert. All right, so a lot of people will say it doesn't really matter what bezel insert you get because you can always take your GMT to RSC and have the bezel insert changed out. And that's true, but it depends on what country you live in, because there's a whole list of countries where RSC, the Rolex Service Center, will do that, and ones where they won't. They won't do it in a country like Thailand, okay? So if you take your all black bezel insert GMT there and you want a Pepsi or a Coke, they will not give it to you. Okay, they won't sell you one, they won't change it out. If you live in Japan, they will. They'll give you the old bezel insert, no problem. So that's a factor, right? And you can get the Coke or the all black after the fact. But I've noticed something, and I noticed it on my all black bezel insert P serial GMT when I had it changed out for a Coke insert. The Coke inserts are different, and I'm talking not font-wise, we'll talk about that, but color-wise. I was surprised, but it is, and you're looking at an example here, a crimson color, an almost blood red color, and it's different than the traditional, like this, more red color of the GMT, one that matches the GMT hand a little more. I mean, if that's a factor there for you, and if non-matching reds bother you, you definitely want to go with a Coke, and a Coke with an original bezel insert, because if you're a Coke man in the true traditional color sense of it, then you're gonna not want these bezel inserts because they've become crimson, and I don't know if after years they kind of lighten up. I'm not really sure. I don't think so. It looks to be almost a completely different color, and why his Rolex slightly changed them, I don't know, but it's just something to note, and I think it's beautiful, but it's different. It's different. And let's look at these models that we're looking at. These are for sale here in Japan. This one right here is 1,045,000 yen, and you can do your own currency conversion. Things change on a daily basis, all right? So it's better to do it yourself, and you can get it in whatever currency you want. And this is a 1996 T serial, and I would bet money that this is a replacement bezel insert, not just because of the font, although that's a red flag, but because of the color. Look at that crimson color. Again, it's beautiful, but it's just different. And so if you truly love the GMT classic colors, the Coke colors, I mean, then this might not be what you want. And look, this is clearly, to me, a replacement bezel insert. I would avoid this watch. Okay, you can always try to source one, but you'll probably be paying about the amount for an overhaul to get an original fat font GMT bezel insert. 700,000, crazy money for a piece of aluminum. So hopefully your pre-owned watch will have an original bezel insert off the bat, unlike this. Now, the other one we were looking at with the more traditional colors, and that's because it appears to have an original bezel insert, is also for sale. It's the same price as the T serial. This is an E serial from 1991, and you can see it's got a tritium dial. Looks like it's got the original hands and the original bezel insert, and it's beautiful, but it's got a lot of wear on the case, and thought I'd give you a shot of this shocking case, because not only is it really well worn, it's polished on top of that, which if you'd asked me, I would have said just keep it original. It's beat to hell, but the best you're going to be able to do is half-ass it with a polish, unless you want to take off so much metal as to grind away all of those deep gashes. Just leave it be. But they didn't. And I'd walk on this one because of the case. Again, if it was beat up without the polishing on top of it, it would be better. It's the polishing, not the beaten up aspect that would make me want to avoid it. But at least the colors on that Coke are right. All right, so let's talk about the fonts, because the fonts changed on the bezel inserts around, I want to say 2002, 2003. So post 2002, the fonts on the bezel inserts got thinner, no serifs. And so if you go to RSC and you change out your bezel, it's going to be thin font, no serifs. Whereas the pre-2002 bezel inserts had a thick font, and they had serifs. And you can really see the serifs right here on this all black GMT Master 2. And it's the same price as the others. And what number would it be? Well, it's got a Swiss-made dial, but it has a hollow in-link bracelet. And they first started doing the Swiss-made dials with the A serial, and the first of the A serials had the hollow in-link bracelets, but the last of the A serials had the solid in-link bracelet. So just looking at this, you can tell it's an A serial, okay? if it was an earlier U, it would have a Swiss-only dial, and if it was, well, if it had the solid and link bracelet, then it could be an A or a P or on, okay? But anyway, let's look at it and look at the font, okay? Fat font and the serifs. I mean, look at those serifs. Look at those serifs. Very pronounced, and that's totally original. And, you know, you're not going to get one of those at RSC these days. And so you're going to want to have, you know, if it's a pre-2002 GMT Master 2, you're going to want to have those fat font, you know, serifed bezel inserts, okay? You're going to want that. And we can see another example here, and this is a T serial. So compare the two T serials. This again is a T serial from 1996. They have it listed as 1995. That's 1995 would be W serial. So this is a T serial, and this is a T serial. And look at this T serial's bezel insert. You got the color, that traditional coat color, and you got the fat font, and look at those serifs. I mean, look at the serifs on the 4 and the 6 and on the 14 and on the 12. I mean, that is totally original, and that's what an original T serial 1996 Coke bezel insert looks like, all right? And that's not what you're going to get if you go to RSC. So end of the day, Ron, you have to decide, are you a true Coke man or a true all black man? Now, I think I would probably go with a Coke, just because it's the color, and it's the only way you're going to get that true traditional Coke color. Whereas, yeah, you're going to get a thin font bezel insert with all black, but who cares? The color's not going to be off unless you like that crimson look. And still, even then, you can always get it switched out to the black, and then take it back again and told him you lost the original bezel insert. Then you'll get your crimson one too. But anyway, I guess end of the day, I would go with a Coke insert, just because it's the only way you're going to get those true Coke colors. Hope that helps. Let me know what you think. Hey, right up here, you can vote. What would you go with? A Coke or an all black? Let Ron know. I'll be voting up there. You'll see my Coke vote. Even though I didn't practice what I preached, I got a P cereal in all black, and I've got a Pepsi. But maybe number 3's on the horizon. Maybe that's what I should get. Okay, I think I've got enough of them. But anyway, let me know what you think. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.